hope you have a good explanation for this.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movies that couldn't be remade today.
You've learned what it feels like to be black.
No, sir.
Beg your pardon?
For this list, we'll be looking at oldies that feature problematic themes, characters, and or storylines, many of which simply wouldn't fly today. Which of these movies have you changed your opinion of over time? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Weird Science. The entire premise of the film is two 15-year-old dudes building a digitized version of their perfect woman.
We're in trouble, Gary. This is highly illegal.
We need more input. We gotta fill this thing up with data. We gotta make her as real as possible, Wyatt. I want her to live. I want her to breathe. I want her to aerobicize.
She ends up coming to life with magical powers and yada yada yada. We probably don't have to explain the issues with this, especially when it comes to the boys picking out breast size and whether or not to give their dream girl a brain.
Should we give her a brain?
Yeah, we can play chess with her.
Chess? Just give her a brain, okay?
Even back in the 80s, this film didn't sit well with everyone. A review in the Washington Post called Kelly LeBrock's role demeaning, while the Chicago Tribune deemed the movie vulgar and mindless. Yep, that about sums it up. Number 9. The Love Guru. While whitewashing has been going on for as long as they've been making movies in Hollywood, as we entered the 2010s, the criticisms of it became much louder. From Johnny Depp in The Lone Ranger to Scarlett Johansson in Ghost in the Shell.
That's right. You were on a boat, a refugee boat. It was sunk by terrorists.
Why can't I feel my body?
Mira, your body was damaged. We couldn't save it. Only your brain survived.
So if there was ever any consideration at all in remaking The Love Guru, the first step would probably be casting the Indian lead role with an actual Indian actor.
I am His Holiness the Guru Pitka.
Beyond Mike Myers' cringy performance, however, it was the film's reliance on Indian caricatures and harmful stereotypes that didn't really do this movie any favours in 2008, and definitely wouldn't now.
Marishka Hargate, Your Holiness.
Oh, Rajneesh. Mariska Hargitay.
Number 8. The Toy. Imagine someone pitching this idea for a movie today. A spoiled white rich kid is told he can get anything in a store and decides he wants a black man on the cleaning crew.
No, Eric, no, not today, not now, not never.
Yes.
But he's not a toy.
The worst part is things actually play out in the kid's favour. Not only could this premise not be remade today, we can't believe it was even made in 1982.
Jack!
What?
Where are you going?
Home.
Why?
You that dumb kid?
The audience consensus was overwhelmingly negative, and it's not difficult to understand why. The plot doesn't really go anywhere that's thoughtful or reconcilable, and even the film's poster is pretty terrible. It features Jackie Gleason as the wealthy white businessman literally controlling Richard Pryor on the end of puppet strings for his son's amusement.
He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Number 7. Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind might be one of the most popular films of all time, but if it were to be remade today, some things would have to change.
What difference does that make, sir, to a gentleman? I'm afraid it's going to make a great deal of difference to a great many gentlemen.
The film begins in 1861 as a divided America is about to throw down in a civil war over slavery. One of the main issues with the film, however, is that it refuses to vilify slavery.
That's treacherous, sir! I refuse to listen to any renegade talk. Well, I'm sorry if the truth offends you. Apologies aren't enough, sir.
Instead, it plays up the lost cause of the Confederacy myth, which justifies the Confederate States' actions and paints a very different picture than the horrors that actually took place. And that is, frankly, something we should all give a damn about.
I can't think about this now. I'll go crazy if I do.
Number 6. Me, Myself and Irene. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder that is unfortunately very often stigmatized.
Doctors have diagnosed you as having a split personality.
A schizo.
I don't remember any of this.
That's because, according to that report, it wasn't you that this was happening to. was this other guy?
Hank.
It's not out of the realm of possibility to conclude that media often has a hand to play in how audiences perceive the disorder. If your only knowledge of schizophrenia comes from movies like Me, Myself and Irene, then you'll probably believe many of the myths about symptoms.
So it's true. Charlie is a schizo.
I wouldn't know. I stay out of his business, he stays out of mine.
Since the aughts, there has thankfully been a lot of discourse that intends to change the false perceptions of schizophrenia in society. With that in mind, a film that sets those perceptions back is not one that could probably be remade the same way in the 2020s.
Hey, what is your problem, pal?
I got no beef with you. This is between me and the kid.
Stop it!
He started it.
Number 5. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Chuck and Larry are two straight firemen who decide to get married in order for Larry to be able to get proper life insurance.
Larry, look at us. We're not gay. But if we were gay, don't you think I'd be with someone a little hotter looking than you?
Back in 2007, when the film came out, same-sex marriage was only legal in one state. It wasn't until 2015 that it became a national right across the country.
What makes you think that you have the right to dictate how other people live their lives?
After all the fighting and the struggles that the LGBTQ+ community has endured to finally be granted this basic right, a film that debases it from the purpose of insurance fraud doesn't have a place on today's screens.
He knows about our partnership, and he's just here checking up on us, making sure we're not running a scam to collect illegal benefits.
People do that? What is with the world?
Rob Schneider in Yellowface would definitely have to go also. Number 4. Shallow Hal. Why Shallow Hal, you ask? Isn't this a film about not judging people on their physical appearance and instead appreciating a person's inner beauty?
What in the name of all that is holy?
Sure, maybe that's what those involved intended it to be about. In actuality though, the movie is littered with fatphobic rhetoric. There are tons of offensive jokes, and it doesn't exactly help that Gwyneth Paltrow was cast as the lead woman and put in a bodysuit.
What are you doing here?
Oh my God. You're beautiful.
You have no right to be here.
The makers might not have intended Shallow Hal to be one big study on fat shaming, but that's pretty much what it was.
Would it bother you if the rest of the world didn't find her attractive?
Not at all, because I know they'd be wrong.
That's what I had with Rosemary! I saw a knockout. I don't care what anybody else saw.
Jeez, I never thought about it that way.
Number 3. Revenge of the Nerds. Steve Jobs, Hermione Granger, and The Big Bang Theory may have made nerds cool.
What are you, some kind of nerd?
Not some kind of nerd. I am the king of nerds.
But back in 1984, when Revenge of the Nerds came out, they were still the losers with broken glasses and pocket protectors, whose life was a constant cycle of being rejected by hot girls and tormented by jocks.
One of those nerds just asked me out.
Which one?
I don't know. They all look alike to me.
So, while the nerds a cool world we live in doesn't quite fit with the total loser nerd stereotype from 40 years ago, that isn't the only reason the film wouldn't work. In the original, the nerds take secret nude photos of sorority girls. While this might have been remarkable in the late 90s when American Pie was secretly webcamming Nadia to everyone in the school, that kind of harassment is, thankfully, a no-go today.
Ah, here she is. Did I miss anything?
No, you were just in time. Oh, this is incredible.
Number 2. Song of the South. Walt Disney has given us some of the greatest moving pictures of all time, and we sure do know how much the company loves to remake their stuff. But not this one.
Oh, bless my soul, child. I sure did. And if I don't tell you about him, you're gonna pester me till I does.
Released in 1946, Song of the South is a cringy, racist film filled with happy ex-enslaved people and offensive black characterizations and stereotypes.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, wonderful feeling, wonderful day.
And we aren't saying anything Disney themselves don't already know. The fact is that not only are they not thinking about remaking it, they don't even want people watching the original.
If I want your advice, I'll ask for it. I'm a stubborn old woman, Uncle Remus.
Yes, Miss Docia, I knows that. Well, good night.
Good night.
Song of the South has fortunately never been made available on home video or on Disney's streaming platform.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Soul Man. The use of blackface, regardless of the reason, has always drawn controversy.
You don't believe me? Well, the joke's on you, sucker!
And yet, in 1986, enough people thought it was funny to release a film about a white dude who pretends to be black in order to get a scholarship.
Full tuition plus $8,000 annual stipend to the most qualified applicant from Los Angeles, California. Let me see that. The most qualified black applicant, you idiot. Oh.
We have trouble understanding how this was given a green light in the first place, but at least we probably won't ever have to see it remade. Although Soul Man does try to say something about racism and the hardships African Americans so frequently face, it didn't really work then, and it certainly wouldn't work now.
In fact, one could argue that it was the lack of understanding of my client's special needs on the part of the governmental, financial, and academic establishments that drove him to his crime.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.